And tonight on our Great American panel, he is a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, Fox News contributor, USA Today columnist. Bob Beckel is back. He is the founder and the chairman of the Faith and Freedom Coalition. Ralph Reed is with us. She is a country music artist, celebrity spokesperson for the Air National Guard and the National Guard Youth Foundation. Laura Bryna is with us. Guys, good to see you. Thanks.
Good to see you, Sean.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Eric Massa, congressman, resigns earlier tonight. Here's what he said yesterday.
Rahm Emanuel is son of the devil spawn. He is an individual who would sell his mother to get a vote. He would strap his children to a front end of a steam locomotive. And if he doesn't like that, he can come after me personally. I was a congressman in my first 8 weeks. And I was in the congressional gym, and I went down and worked out. I went into the showers, which, by the way, I, for the life of me, can't figure out why they took all the shower curtains off the shower stalls in the congressional shower. I mean, the last thing I want to look is my fellow colleagues naked, but they don't have any shower curtains down in the gym. And I'm sitting there showering, naked as a jaybird, and here comes Rahm Emanuel, not even with a towel wrapped around his tush, poking his finger in my chest, yelling at me because I wasn't going to vote for the president's budget. Do you know how awkward it is to have a political argument with a naked man? By the way, what the heck is he doing in the congressional gym? He goes there to intimidate members of Congress.
Rambo, dead fish, naked? He can't put his clothes on first before he intimidates somebody?
Let me just say this about this former congressman. This boy is missing some dogs under his front porch, believe me. He is not telling the truth. He is a guy that's using this thing with Emanuel to cover up his own problems, which are sexual harassment issues, among other things. He should have been out of the Congress long ago. He says it's about health care, and he says, I'm going to let him come after you. I'll come after you, punk. You don't deserve to be in Congress. You were a no vote on health care. Go home and shut up.
Whoa. Why so hostile?
Because the guy is he's covering up his own problems by taking on people. And Rahm Emanuel no more went into the shower. And I've been in those gym showers up there, and they do have curtains. I don't know where this guy's been, but.
You been in there?
I certainly have been in there. I've been in that gym, and, of course, I don't know, maybe he wishes there weren't shower curtains on it, but there are curtains on the shower.
Wow.
Well, I'm not going to defend the former congressman. I mean, based on his own account, Sean, this is either boorish, highly inappropriate, and appears to go way beyond that. You don't resign from Congress in front of an ethics inquiry without a reason. But I will say this.
Well, apparently there may be health issues involved, too, or so he says.
Whatever the story is. But the fact is, for the Democrats, this really shows two much deeper problems. The first is Nancy Pelosi ran against what she called a culture of corruption and said she was going to run the most ethical Congress in American history. You've got Rangel stepping down, Pete Stark being thrown under the bus by his own caucus. You've got a governor here in New York who is in meltdown. You've got a whole range of other ethical problems that are plaguing the Democrats as they go into 2010. The second problem you've got is this episode underscores that they are whipping short of the number they need.
You really think so?
I know so. I know they're short today. Now, I'm not predicting the outcome of the vote.
Bob, you disagree? Or?
I absolutely disagree. I mean, I think on the surface it would appear that way, but let's keep this in mind.
They publicly said that.
No, they have, but let me tell you, we had 220 votes the last time. You need 216 now.
Right.
There are 4 people retiring who were no votes who are going to switch their votes to yes, because just to give one the party on the way out. And there is nobody who can find the 11 people that presumably are in this coalition on the abortion issue for Stupak. So I think they're not there yet, but they're within 2 or 3.
I'm not predicting the outcome. What I'm saying is that there is the most enormous amount of pressure being exerted on these members. And the amazing thing is they're going off the cliff with these leaders. I mean, if you look at the Democracy Corps poll today, Republicans have a 2-to-1 favorable on the ballot. This is Stan Greenberg's poll. And the Democrats are 1-to-1. It's an impending disaster, and it's like a bunch of lemmings going off a cliff.
You want to weigh in? Go ahead. Well, first of all, listen to Rambo. I mean, Deadfish. Rahm would sell his own mother, son of the devil spawn. I mean, do you think this is indicative of what's going on? Is what Ralph's saying is true? Buying votes and influence and twisting arms and doing everything they can? Does that hurt them in the end?
Well, for me, I really think that, I mean, if you're in the public eye, your opinion really matters, and what you say can affect all of us. I mean, really, if you can get away with saying something inappropriate, I mean, how can you expect to get away with something like that? I mean, there's there's obviously going to be consequences with YouTube and internet and all that different things out there. I mean, you can't.
Here's what's happening.
Twisting arms and making people feel bad. What do you think this is? This a game of checkers?
Listen,
this is
Bob,
not. It's quoting the former Mayor Daley. This ain't beanbag we're playing here.
Beckel, listen, I love you. I can't. Every Democrat that votes for this is ending their career.
If that's the case, why don't you want to see it passed?
Bob,
because I care about my country first.
I see.
When you're doing things like the Cornhusker kickback and the Louisiana Purchase and the other things that happen in the middle of the night, they're not even defending it. I don't know how you can defend it when the leaders themselves are saying they're going to try and fix it in reconciliation.
This is a
This bill is a disaster.
If you would follow this, Ralph, on occasion, as opposed to going out and getting yourself elected to something, you would understand that both those things were out of that bill 3 weeks ago. But you want to repeat it because it sounds good. It's a classic Republican. Yes,
they're asking House members to vote for the Senate bill.
Whoa, stop. The Louisiana Purchase is in. Number one, the union benefit is in for now everybody, which means it's going to cost more. Number three, as it relates to the Cornhusker kickback, that they just offering it to everybody. Again, raising the cost.
No, they are not offering to everybody. You know, I just wish, this is the reason I can't sit talking healthcare with you guys, because you don't ever get to, either your stories don't get right. No, you're wrong. You've been, look, if I dropped in from Mars right now and listened to this bill that's described by you guys, I'd be against it too. The reason the polls show that is because you guys have done everything you can to mislead people.
The Democrats, though, are in disarray. You got Rombo Deadfish. He sent in all these, favorable stories about him.
Right.
Axelrod fights back in the New York Times. There's disarray among the Democratic ranks. And my question is, who goes first? Because not everybody's going to survive this, in spite of the president's pleas.
Sean, the rats are scrambling off the sinking ship. And I know Rom. I worked with him when he was in the Clinton White House. He's a very smart, able, gifted internal operative. And what he's doing right now is he's putting the word out. He's freelancing and basically putting the word out through favored reporters. Look, I urge that KSM not get a criminal trial in New York. I urge that we go with a smaller health care package. He's trying to frame this so he doesn't get hurt as this ends badly.
But who are exactly the rats that are deserting the ship right now?
But don't you think that, I mean, we have other bigger issues to worry about than these two boys bickering back and forth?
Exactly.
And, I mean...
No, I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't, and let me tell you why.
Yeah.
If you read the Jason Horowitz piece in the Washington Post, there is a startling revelation, which is that Emanuel was going to Lindsey Graham to try to get Graham to influence his own attorney general. He's prohibited from even talking to members of the cabinet. That's a big deal.
The reason you're exactly right is that these two guys have to talk about that because there's nothing else they can talk about.
We got to take a break, and the American people obviously care too, Bob. It's going to be their money that pays for this. Time now to check in with Greta Van Susteren for a sneak peek of what Greta has in 21 minutes. Greta.
You know, Sean, I was wondering whether I could top naked congressmen and the shower curtain discussion, and I think I might actually be able to. We'll let the viewers decide. Here's mine. Mine is a governor's race in Florida where there's an allegation of back waxing. I'm not kidding, for tonight. So I'm not so sure what. Back waxing, it's unbelievable, the allegation. I don't know if it's true or not, but it may top the naked congressman. But we also have Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Rick Santorum, Ambassador Bolton, Rick Klein from the Note. But the real question is, does back waxing trump naked congressmen? I don't know.
All right, and be careful, by the way, for those that get some type of silicone injections in their buttocks. Bad story about that.
That's tomorrow night.
I'm going to warn Beckel next. We'll take a break. More of our Great American Panel.